All right, we're going to go ahead and get started with our post-game press conference with head coach Emma Kutz, and we'll get started. If you are on the Zoom and you would like to ask a question, use the raise your hand feature. We will do our best to get you called on. If you are in the room, just use your hand here, and we'll get you called on. We'll open up, let Coach make a quick statement, and then we'll go to questions. Coach?
Cool. Yeah, obviously disappointed with the result today. I thought what I was proud of is the way that we kept pushing for a goal at the end. Probably not the quality at times that we wanted, but can't fault the players' commitment to want to try and stay in the game, try and score a goal, but generally just disappointed with the outcome and probably the way we started the game more than anything.
All right, I saw a question in the back.
Coach, how much was it their speed, particularly Stendis, as far as like trying to be able to get out in front and take the lead on your team?
Yeah, the speed of their front line is good, both in possession and out of possession on their press. And I think there's multiple things. It's a bit counterintuitive. Sometimes you want to, as a player, drop to protect the space behind you, which is what started happening, and the gaps get really big. And we need to be a little bit braver to stay higher for longer, and to be a little bit braver on the ball as well to be able to play through their press. And I thought it just took us too long to get up to speed with that.
How are you?
Yeah.
San Francisco, California, 10 a.m. What positives are you taking away to face North Carolina?
Yeah, I mean, the positives is we obviously tried something a little bit different later in the game to try and push and score more goals, and I thought we tried to create that in different ways. I thought the players that came into the game had an impact, which was good. I think there's lots of lessons in terms of some of the game management around recognising when do we speed it up and slow it down. But I think the fact that there was belief to keep wanting to try and score was good.
How could you guys balance opportunities now moving forward?
Say again, sorry?
How could you balance the opportunities moving forward from today's game?
The opportunities, we're trying to develop a real identity here and belief and confidence. And I think, whilst we're disappointed in the result, we tried to do some of the right things, and there's lots of lessons to take. There was opportunities for different players to come into the game, and I think that's one that we'll review the game. We'll review it against what we tried to do and our identity, and then we'll obviously build into next week.
Theo?
Hey, Coach, can you talk about Jireli and her
Yeah.
impact? Obviously you mentioned, the pressing late to the match.
Yeah.
She was a big component in that.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. She's a top player, and I thought her experience to try and manage the game and recognise moments to get us up the pitch and when to press, and likewise, some of her back to goal play. And I think as she gets in and around the team more, and the girls learn a little bit more around her style of play, I think that's going to be really effective. But it was great to have her leadership on the pitch today.
And then, was there a part of the game plan that you just feel like that part I got wrong in terms of like giving up those 3 goals in sort of similar fashion?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think it's one of those where it's easy to go, did we get it wrong? I think there's moments that we didn't apply consistently the things that we wanted to do. We didn't do it quick enough, and I think that's the thing with teams like this. If you don't do it quick enough, you get punished because of the speed and the quality of some of their players, and I'd say that's what cost us a little bit today.
Here, then.
What do you think about the referee's call today?
Say again, sorry?
The referee's call today, yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to think that there's parts that obviously it's disappointed that we obviously now dealing with Taylor being out with a red card, and I've not seen any of the instances, so I don't really want to comment on that right now. I think I'd like to see just some more consistency going forward around certain calls, but other than that, there's probably not too much to say.
You mentioned Jireli's experience. I mean, how much did she help with young attackers like Carly and Alex and help them kind of get up to speed and better at this level?
Yeah, absolutely. You can see it sort of in training every day, the way she's like talking with the players, some of the stuff that they do in and around training, the problem solving. The players love that. Some of the work that she's been doing with some of the younger players at the end of training around some of their finishing, that's something we're working really hard on. And you could even see it like before the game in the changing rooms, just the conversations that we're having. So I think she's going to have a huge impact on some of the players here.
Rachel wasn't on the field today. She had a leg injury.
Yeah.
Can you give an update on that? And did you guys miss her being out there today?
Yeah, it's a low-level strain, so that it's nothing too significant. Looks a little bit worse with a crutch, right? We're just trying to protect her a little bit. Did we miss her today? I'm like, absolutely. We always miss players when they're unavailable. Do I feel that we still have players that possess the same sort of speed and power? I think we do in Carly and Kira. So yes, we missed her, but I still think we've got a squad and some good depth up there for a reason.
All right, we'll go ahead and go to the Zoom. We do have a question from Dan Maletta. Dan, go ahead.
Thanks, Jeff. Emma, the team honored the Cyber Rays from WUSA pregame. I know you were young at that time. I'm wondering if you have any memory of that team when it existed when you were a kid in England.
Yeah, no, I'm quickly learning though.
And then one more, just what are your thoughts through 2 games on Claire Hutton's performance in midfield?
Yeah, I think she's first and foremost. I think she's a warrior. I thought, she took a lot of hard hits there. I thought they marked her really tightly. I thought they did a good job to try and sort of make her life tough. I thought she was everywhere from an out of possession point of view the last couple of games, and she's still been brave to get on the ball. You see little moments of creativity. So we're excited to have her here, and we're just excited to see her keep growing in her performances.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. We'll go to Marco.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Coach, what do you have you thought of Carly News play through 2 games? It seemed like she struggled a little bit in the first match, but then maybe just improved a little bit tonight. What do you think of her play so far to start the season?
Yeah, I mean, with Carly, she's such a powerful player. Someone who is a real nuisance to play against because of her strength and her power. I think there's obviously the bits we're working with her on is just some of her decision making tactically in the game, and I wouldn't say that's exclusive to Carly. I think we're trying to transition into a style of play and identity, and I mentioned it in the press conference last week. Did we do it last week consistently? No. Were the areas we did well? Yes. And that's the same tonight. There was parts of our identity that we saw. There was parts that we didn't quite get it right at key moments. But I think she's improving. She struggled a little bit in pre-season with a problem with a rib as well, so she's still sort of building. But yeah, I think I'm excited to see what comes from Carly this season.
Would you consider tonight sort of like a wake-up call? It's kind of the first bit of adversity since
Yeah, I mean, football's football. You win some, you lose some. The world keeps turning. There's parts of the game that we didn't execute well enough today. We turned the ball over easily. We didn't quite shift quick enough out of possession. But are there glimpses that you start to see what we're capable of? I think so. We were punished in the game, and that's what you get at this level. But is there areas of growth that we're seeing across? Absolutely. And I think some things that make teams stronger is dealing with diversity, and as I say, the belief in the togetherness of the group is so important, and I'm sure that'll be on display in the way that we bounce back next week.
All right, any other questions for Coach? Okay, that is it for her. All right, welcome back in. We are proud to be joined today by Cindy Collins and Claire Hutton. We will go straight to questions. Again, if you are on the Zoom, just use the raise your hand feature and we will get you called on. But we'll start in the room. So, Paula?
Hola, Maruri, San Francisco, California, 10 a.m. Cindy, as a captain and leader, what could you guys do better to face North Carolina? And what do you think overall about the game tonight? Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, no one likes losing to a rival. I think that we came out with not fast enough for the game. I think we made changes early in the second half, but our game management also, are some things we need to get on the same page. I think that we'll learn from this, grow from this, and get organized for the next week. Yeah, it's a long season, so yeah.
Claire, I'm kind of going from both sides, but anywho, today seemed like a very physical game for you compared to last week, and just you getting into it with the refs and some of the players from FC. How did you deal with that? And you had some good moments, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's a physical game as it is, and like Sid said, it's a rival game. Those games are going to be heated. Everybody wants to win. They're going to bring their best, and especially Angel City, they're a tough opponent. So it's something we knew it was going to be like going in and going with each other, shoulder by shoulder. They're going to hit us, we're going to hit them back, and that's a part of it. So it's just being ready, getting up, and going again.
What was your guys' thoughts just overall with Taylor Huff, just continuing throughout the game, and she got the red card in the end, but just like keeping the momentum up for the team, even with her performance?
I I mean, she scored the goal for us. I think that was definitely a booster. We never sat back through the whole game. You could tell we were pushing through, and knowing that we had a 10 on the field that was continually looking to get the ball, progress it, go forward is always an amazing thing. Taylor's a great player. The red was unfortunate. It's obviously unfortunate that we're not going to have her next weekend, but we have a deep roster. We have players that can fill the roles, and we know that anybody coming onto the field is going to continue to raise the level. So we just have to keep moving forward and learn from this and be a little bit smarter in our decision making and just keep going with the season.
Liam?
When they get off to such a quick start, getting that goal, I think the 4th minute, just how hard is it to kind of get your mindset back on track and bounce back in that situation?
Yeah, I mean, I think the message to the team was like we have so much time to get it back. And I think that when you concede early, obviously you don't plan for that when you're prepping for games. But yeah, we had like I think 85 minutes to get back on the same page to threaten them. And that was a message to the team to just continue with our game plan. I think we didn't need to waver from the preparation that we had done.
Coach, sorry, Cindy, I guess, what do you think the issues were kind of at the start of the game? It seemed like you guys were able to recover, but things took a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we needed to play with higher tempo. I think that we needed to move the ball and, yeah, just keep the ball in moments where we turned the ball over. They are really transitional. That's some of their strengths. But I think controlling the tempo of the game is something that we think is our strength. And I think that it took us a little bit to get into that. You know, some of that comes from being a rivalry game of just the excitement, the energy, the physical battles. But I think that we can learn from this in moments where we can control the tempo. And, yeah.
All right, we're going to go to the Zoom. First hand up was Marco.
Good evening, ladies. Marco Nikolovich, Bay Area Sports Wrap. Claire, it looked like one of Angel City's goals was to not let you do your thing out in midfield. Did you feel that they just were taking away your space out there?
I do think it was a very tight man-to-man play situation. Yeah, I think they did a good job at it. I definitely am a little bruised up a bit from it, but I mean, again, it's part of the game, and I think that us as a team, we need to continue finding ways to build around it. We knew that it was going to be hard to play through the middle, and I don't think it was only me. I think they played very tightly, very compact, and again, it's just how we're able to find solutions from that. And we had moments where we were finding the opposite pocket, but it's just, again, building onto that and knowing that people around are just going to keep raising the level and bringing the game up. So, yeah, I do think it was a very physical game, but, again, like we have a lot to build on from that.
And lastly, how do you guys go about cleaning up the turnovers that led to the counters for next week? Thanks.
Just we're going to be more technically able to execute. I think it's just something that we need to go back and continue working on. It wasn't our cleanest performance, but again, this is the second game of the season. It's a long season. We have a lot to work on. Every team does. We lost one game. It's a 26-game season, so I just want you guys to just continue trusting us and trusting what we're building, because it's one game. Teams lost last weekend. Teams lose this weekend, and that's not the goal, but obviously we're going to continue to work hard. We didn't give up any of that. During the game, we were fighting till the very end, so yeah, it was not our best performance, but the best is yet to come for us.
All right. Thanks, Marco. Next up was Dan Loletta.
Thanks, Dan Loletta from Equalizer. Claire, building on the question about them kind of trying to mark you out of the game, does it feel any different either today or over the first 2 weeks than it did in Kansas City when there were maybe a more wide array of players that opposing defenses could kind of pin down and take out of a game?
I mean, I think every game you're going to be faced with different challenges. Like I said before, I don't think it was only me. I think they played Hannah very tightly as well, and it was just about how we were able to find our free player. I think Jordan Silkowitz did a great job stepping up, using her feet, finding the free player. Our center backs did a great job at drawing space, finding the free player in the wide to break seams and lines. I think just from there, now it's the execution of how we can continue making decision making. It's going to happen during the season. Some games it's going to be me, some games it's going to be other players. But again, we have a very talented team that is able to step up. So that's the biggest thing is how we are able to adjust to it. It's like I've said a million times, a long season. So this is just game 2, and we're going to continue to have at it and look for the wins.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. Up next is Dino.
Hi, Sydney. You talked about some of those adjustments, finding some success in those later in the match. Can you talk a little bit more specifically about, what changed and then what started to work a little bit better?
Yeah, I mean, I think they, like Claire's mentioned, like marked our midfield pretty tight. Like it was pretty difficult to find our midfield from the back. I think when we started to skip lines and, find like our front line and then have them play off of the midfield, I think that helped a lot. I also think that just the overall tempo of like we're down, we need to chase a goal, we need to flood numbers forward, we need to put them under pressure, was an adjustment we made at half. It wasn't necessarily changing a lot tactically, but we needed to do our game plan at a higher level and a higher tempo.
And then a quick question for Claire. Can you talk a little bit about maybe what's, in terms of the team developing, is there anything that is on schedule for you or ahead of schedule that you're feeling like really positive about? I know the last 20, 30 minutes looked really good out there.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's everything in general. I think Emma Coates has come in with a very clear way of how she wants us to play, and I think a lot of that is tactical freedom. She's giving us a lot of ideas of how we can build, how we can be in the creation phase, final third, and kind of adjust to how other teams are playing. Just look at the past few weeks. We've picked up me, Christiana. We have another player coming in next week. So it's just kind of us forming and getting those relationships because we didn't all have a full preseason together where we got to play preseason games. So the message is clear on this team. We have players that can play. It's just now getting on the same page, continuing working day in, day out at practice, forming those relationships, the connections. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens after losses. It happens after wins. It happens after tough moments where we're going to be back on the field in 2 days working to get better. So I think Emma is just creating a really good environment for us to feel that we are here to grow, we're here to learn, and I'm excited for it. Yeah, we lost, but a loss is a great way to know how you can be better, and it's a challenge that was one of the reasons I came to Bay, is for a challenge, and I'm ready to fight alongside these girls and have the best come out of it.
All right. Thank you, everybody.